let's assume that COVID is a crisis. Now, I want you to really get your arms around why we need to change in California. And this should make you very afraid. We say the ICU beds are filling up too fast. We have a crisis. There's 3,000 deaths in a week, whatever. Forget real or perceived. I'm not here to argue that point. We have 40,000 people or whatever the figures in a month get COVID. Did you know for probably the 20th year in a row, California is ranked #1 with a bullet, the highest state to have with the potential of having a major disaster. Did you know that?
Didn't know that.
You can look it up. The geologists, and they do all these factors, government services, and because of our population, I'm not trying to be morbid here, a plane crashing, a fireball, one of these big tanks, an earthquake, because we do sit on a really big crack as we've been kids, right? So I want you to consider this. If Gavin Newsom, and he promised to fix this when he went in office, another promise not made, and you can look it up. If the government of California cannot handle something like this, where we have to put, frankly, 2,500 people in ICU, maxed out Los Angeles County, what's really going to happen to the infrastructure when 3,000 people immediately need to go to the hospital? Because this will happen. It is government's job at its most basic level not to decide if I go to church. It is government's job at its most basic level not to decide that I can't mix boys and girls' clothing in the store. It is government's job at its most basic level not to decide whether I should eat with something on my face or not. It is government's job at its most basic level to supply us with a safe infrastructure, disaster preparedness, and the ability to live our everyday lives. On those 3 things alone, just the inverse evidence of what I'm telling you right now, Gavin Newsom and the government of California has failed. COVID was a test. When the big one comes, we got problems. Recall Gavin 2020.com is the people's way of saying, pay attention.